This is a Hawthorne pre-war my dad recently had picked up at a swap meet. This is his project bike. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on here for him, do some specialty stuff here, get this thing kicked off. He had picked this up for $15, and you know, at a glance it seems like a deal, but really there's a lot going on here. That's some pretty in-depth stuff, making this basically a skill level 3 build. Probably the first major thing that would stop a lot of people or have them unable to go much further with the bike is there's a crack right here, and it wraps around pretty far. It's not just a seam, that is definitely a crack. I can even see some separation there, so that's going to have to be cleaned off. Probably run the grinder in there, and then seal it back up real well. And so welding is definitely involved here. So that's the first crossroads that would have a lot of people left behind. Secondly, you can see that somebody at some point in time had welded the crank arm on here. I doubt that this is a two-piece design crank. For whatever reason, they had done that at the time they did, and so this is going to have to be cut out. Whether or not I'll be able to do this with a sawzall grinder or have to resort to the oxyacetylene cutting torch, that's yet to be seen, but one way or another that's going to have to come out. There's a rather large dent on the seat mast right here. Some of the brazing work in here is questionable as to whether or not underneath this paint, non-factory after birth repair had been done on here or not. That's another thing that is undiscovered and yet to be determined. But I know it's kind of hard to see now, you know, on this video, but it's kind of wavy in here and a little choppy, not quite as smooth as what I would expect to see with the belt polishers that they used for these joints at the time. And so the possibility that a repair had already been done underneath that paint there is definitely a possibility. Now we move up to the fork here, which is probably this bike's big allure to a lot of people. Get the honeycomb springer on there. Well, one of the legs is a little bit tweaked inward. That's going to have to be straightened out. I've got my methods for that. And the stem is frozen in place. The stem is indefinitely rusted in place at this point. Well, hopefully I can heat around the nut and get some water to seep in there and be able to extract the stem without having to cut the stem apart, because it is kind of a neat stem. It's got this kind of like little hood ornament on the front here, and I would like to extract it in one piece, but if it can't be done, it can't be done. And then I'll just have, if it won't come out in one piece, I'll have to cut it off here to be able to pull the nut and bearing race off. And once I can apply heat straight to the steer tube itself of the fork, I'll be able to get what's left of the quill out, no doubt about it. I've done many extractions like that before, but I'm hoping to be able to pull the stem out one piece and not have to cut it in half to be able to extract it in two parts. But you know, it's hard to get the heat in there where I need it instead of just on the frame. I need it on the fork, on the steer tube, to be able to get that water to penetrate in there, to break the barrier between the two apart. If you separate those. So that's about where we're at right now. I just want to do a quick video of a before, so that way I can look back and see all the changes that have been made. Another thing of interest here is you see that this screw is showing signs of stripping on the thread. Definitely going to have to run a thread tap through these reverse facing dropouts and freshen those up so that they are back in operation. I think that pretty much covers it.